everyone, welcome back to another episode here at OurMFC. I'm your host Jordan, and today is another episode of the match reaction, and we're going to be going through everything that happened over the weekend in the Barnsley game, and just talk about the performance really. I mean, it wasn't much of one. But let's just get in. Tell me your thoughts on everything that we discussed in this episode, either in the comments or share it with us on social, at us on Twitter or comment on our pictures on Instagram, and just let us know what you think on all the topics that we cover. So, starting off with how we've started all season, really, in the majority of our games. Me and Ben touched on it last week. It's happened a number of times before. The inability to just keep hold of the ball and do the basics right. Just play football. As daft as it sounds, it's the small things that we as a club sometimes forget to do right or correctly. We always try and overcomplicate it almost. And it's obviously really frustrating as a fan to watch, because you're kind of crying out just for someone to take control, really. I think we missed the likes of someone like Sam Morsey to really grab the reins in the centre of that pitch and just say, look, come on, get your heads up, do the basics right. And like I say, I don't think we did that very well on Saturday at all. A lot of people actually said, and I agree with, that the way that Barnsley set up and performed, Warnock spoke about them kind of hoofing the ball upfield a lot, and they did do that, but we actually thought when we had someone like Warnock come in, that's the type of football that we were going to play, getting the ball forward as fast as we possibly can. Now, we have been doing that in a number of games previous to the Barnsley one, but I just thought they did everything right in the sense of the basics. The first of the ball, but if they didn't get the first ball, first to the second ball. And it's little things like that. I've spoke about it, like I say, in previous episodes a number of times. It's just them little things and them little split-second decisions. And, I think it was halfway through the first half, I just kind of said to myself, it's going to be one of them games. It really is going to be one of them games. And, I was right. It turned out to be one of them games where we just couldn't kind of turn it around. We couldn't get any momentum going. And like I say, in that first half, we just were really, really poor. It just didn't work out for us at all. And I think, like I say, Sam Morsey was a big miss in the sense of, I think he would have dominated the centre of the park a little bit better, and that's not taking anything away from Johnny Howson, because, like I say, Warnock after the game said he actually apologised. He went over to Howson and apologised for everyone else's performance, because he was superb in the sense that if you look at his age, right, I think he's like 32. I might be incorrect there, but off the top of my head, I think he's 32, and he outclassed everyone in terms of work rate. He covered every blade of grass, and he just didn't stop working. And you know what? If we had 11 men like Howson on that pitch on Saturday, I have no doubt that the performance would be completely flipped on its head. Completely, we'd have created more. There'd have been a lot more tackles flying in, but there'd have been a bit more togetherness. I think on Saturday, when you look back at it, there was a lot of individual performances, and it didn't really come across as like a team performance, if you like. Like I say, some very poor ratings, but can't take anything away from Howson. I think he's been super, well, not just in the Barnsley game, he's been superb all season. But I'd like to have seen, like I say, a few more performances like Howson. I really would. There's not too much to talk about, if I'm being honest. But what I would like to have seen is, first of all, I didn't really understand the substitutions as well because the substitutions, bringing the likes of Assombalonga on, Fletcher, when their season's in doubt, really, I didn't understand that much at all. I'd like to have seen us bring someone like Coburn on, like I say, me and Ben spoke about in the last episode, and giving them a run out. The season's over now. That that we've got nothing to aim for anymore. So Warnock's openly spoke about the contracts of these players. He expects them to run out. The same with Marvin Johnson, which is a real shame because in terms of chances created, he's up there for the most goal involvements, if you like. So it'd be a big shame to see him go, as well as Fletch. Britt, don't know where I got Tav from. Britt leaving, I completely understand that, but then to go from saying that he's not going to play a game the rest of this season, there's no point taking him and putting him on the bench, never mind bringing him on, and for him to then come on was a little bit like, well, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? What's the point? And honestly, they didn't make an impact when they came on either, at all. I think Balassi looked fresh in terms of chasing the ball down. He was a willing runner all game for the last, I think it was 20 minutes or so, but they didn't make an impact either. And to be fair to Barnsley, I can't take anything away from them because the way that they were set up, it didn't allow us to do so. So our hands were tied there anyway, and the way that they were playing. And I can understand the comments that Warnock made on their striker Dyke, because he's a hell of a player, isn't he? He's a beast of a player, and you hope next season, if Warnock gets the backing of the club directors and stuff, that hopefully we can give it a good go next season. I think going into next season, that's going to be the thought process, isn't it? But if I'm being honest, the Barnsley game in general was a bit of a... It was that game, or you don't get 3 points there, the season is it's over. People said it before the game anyway, but that was just a nail in the coffin, really. So it was a shame to see the season kind of peter off like that. But I'd like to see from now until the end of the season, make it exciting for the fans, if you like. There's nothing to really go for, so let's experiment. Let's try these different formations, and we might have a crappy performance by trying out a new formation, but we also might try a different one with a couple of youngsters in there and it clicks, and then you go, right, okay, hold on a second, we've got a couple of players here that I know that can fit this system. So then going into next season or pre-season, when I look to bring these other players in, is there a way that I can fit them into that system whilst having the youngsters in there as well, and see if that works? And obviously everyone's going to have the good games and the bad, unless you're Johnny House and you're not consistent all the way through. But I'd like to see that, Sam Falarin has been on fire, Coburn's been on fire, which is why he's on the bench. I'd like to see these players now come into the first team and be able to just enjoy football and have fun. And these players that he's confirmed will be leaving, kind of feature them slightly, but don't make them the main picture, if you like. As harsh as it sounds, because they're still under contract at the club. But I just think you've got a plan for next season now, when you've got to know what players you want and what players you don't. Which players you're going to play in what position, which players want to be at the club. There's some players there fighting for the place in the team, and I think they're the players that you need to come in and give them an opportunity these last 5 games. So, and that's what you've really got to go for. And one thing I will touch on as well before we leave is I want to know your thoughts on Marcus Bettinelli, because to be fair, I've defended him on a number of occasions, but I do believe that the 2 goals that we conceded could have been prevented if Bettinelli had done better. So the first one, how he scores from a corner, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Bettinelli goes to like punch thin air, and it seems to like go through his wrists, and just creeps in the goal. Honestly, I've watched it back 5 times, and I still can't work out how that went in. So he was at fault for the first one, and then the second one, the shot comes in, but it's where he parries it. He doesn't parry it out to. It's still a danger zone, if you like. He parries it to the danger zone instead of. Well, I think he could have done better. I think he could have either caught it down by his side or pushed it out by the byline instead of where he did. And they retained possession, put a ball in, and I guess you can blame. I can't remember who the covering defender was, but they should have been on that man, and that man was free, which is Dyke, who he scores a good header. But I think that could have been preventable as well anyway, just from the parry out. But there's a few mistakes he's made, especially in recent time, and a number of performances. And from what I've seen, a lot of people don't want him here. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of tweets. There's a picture of Randolph and there's a picture of Bettinelli, and you go like, what an absolute downgrade. But he seems like a really nice bloke, and I do think he's a brilliant championship goalkeeper. But if we're really going to push for promotion, does he make too many mistakes? Would that cost us next season? They're the questions that obviously Warnock's going to be asking himself, because we won't have a massive budget going on next season, and Marcus Bettinelli will be on a free transfer. So Warnock's looking at how many mistakes does he make, but how much can I afford? So because he'll be coming on a free, does he look at that and go, well, he's a free transfer, he pulls off some worldy saves, but then does he make too many mistakes? Like I say, these are the things that you've got to look at. And I think, why not give Bryn a go? For the last few games, why not bring Bryn into a couple of them and see how he does in the first team? Give him a try out, see what he's like. If he makes some mistakes, he makes some mistakes. That's how you learn. He's playing in the youth teams, but we all know of his talent anyway. Everyone, who Bryn is. He's been around the scene for a number of years now. So like you say, why not give him a try? You see how he does. A couple of first team games under his belt, and it gives Warnock something to think about as well. And I think he could be another player that's coming through the ranks that will inevitably, in time to come, given the chance, he will be a first team goalkeeper, and I think he'll be a brilliant one at that as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Marcus Bettinelli. Should he stay at Boro next season? Do you think Warnock will sign him? Yes or no? Just let me know in the comments, or like I say, if you're listening on the podcast, just let us know on social. Let us know your thoughts on it. And then we'll go through them all, because like I say, personally, I would say I'd give him till the end of the season, and see where we're at, because I like the look of Stojanovic coming back. He's not done too bad in his time out on loan at St. Pauli, so I think I'd have a good look at him when he comes back, because I think, if I'm being honest, when Stojanovic was playing, I didn't see any problems at all, really. There's a couple of mistakes he made, but apart from that, I think he's more than capable to step into that role in the first team. And to be fair, we haven't seen much of Archer either. So does he keep Archer on? And is he a goalkeeper that, he's played one game in the first team for, it was in a cup against Brentford, and the goals that conceded, there's nothing he could do about them. So, like you say, there's all these different factors to consider, but like I say, I want your thoughts on them. Let me know. I've gave you mine. Let me know your thoughts on them, and we'll go through them in a different video. But that covers this match reaction. It hasn't been the biggest of match reactions, just because, like I say, it wasn't the best game. But let me know what you think we should do now until the end of the season. Should we start playing the kids? Should we try these different formations out? Is this something that we need to look at going forward and plan for the next season ahead to really give it a good go? So yeah, let me know in the comments, like I say. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe, and if you listen on the podcast, leave a review. If you haven't already done so, get signed up to our forum. It's now live. Hopefully you guys have seen the promotional video that we've done. It's really exciting. You know, there's all these different things that you can do on there in terms of talking to fellow Boro fans about different topics such as transfer rumours, the academy, Boro women, all these different forum topics that we've got going on. And just get involved, you know, have a chat. If you've got 10 minutes on a night, you're thinking, I don't have much to do, if I'm being honest, let's chat with the Boro fans about the Boro. Yeah, like I said, just get involved, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.